Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering will be in the sport of football inside the NFL world. Of course, this episode will be coming out on this segment's gonna be coming out on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the bonus segment today. These NFL players do believe should be the following players that should be traded as soon as possible. I think these players do need a new fresh start in their NFL careers. So the list of players are the players that I do believe that should be traded very, very soon, and from their respective franchises that they currently play for. So player number one is Trey Lance. I do believe that quarterback Trey Lance for the San Francisco 49ers needs to be traded as soon as possible. I think that the 49ers and Trey Lance are heading into a divorce that it's just for both sides to move on at this point. Trey Lance needs a new fresh start. The 49ers just need to move on and have him away from the facility at this point. Back in 2021, heading into that draft, the San Francisco 49ers obviously gave up too much to the Miami Dolphins to trade all the way up to pick number 3 to acquire Trey Lance, quarterback from North Dakota State at the time in the 2021 draft. And when you look back at it, it honestly might go down as one of the worst trades in NFL history, because the Dolphins gave up a total of 3 first-round picks. All of those the 49ers gave up a total of 3 first-round picks to the Miami Dolphins. All those draft picks that ended up, when you do the math on it, when you look at the everything that happened for the Dolphins, the draft picks added up to be the 3 first-round picks turned into Tyreek Hill, who's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Jalen Waddle, who they drafted number 6 in the 2021 draft, wide receiver from Alabama. He's been an absolute stud since he came in the NFL. Then they acquired Bradley Chubb, pass rushers from the Denver Broncos by the end of the trade deadline last year for a first-round pick. So you acquired Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Bradley Chubb for Trey Lance, for an unproven quarterback heading into his 3rd year in the NFL. Dolphins finessed the 49ers. It might go down as one of the worst trades in the NFL history for the sake of the San Francisco 49ers. But for Trey Lance's sake, he's not looking good this preseason. I'm looking at the film at him. Read progressions are still off. He's still holding on the ball way too long in the pocket, which is leading him to get sacked several times in the pocket. He doesn't have ball awareness yet, pocket awareness yet. And this is a lot of alarming things for a quarterback heading into his 3rd season. That's really his 1st season. He sat back and learned from Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan's offense. Then his 2nd season, unfortunately, got hurt in the 2nd game of the NFL season. But now it's to a point where he's not looking good. He's not progressing well heading into his 3rd season. Right now, he's currently the 3rd-string quarterback on the roster. And after training camp, after the preseason is officially over, it's looking like that Brock Purdy is going to be the starting quarterback. And it looks like that Sam Darnold is going to win the 2nd-string position, leaving Trey Lance as the 3rd-string quarterback. Not a good look when you're a former 3rd overall pick in the 2021 draft that was just a few years ago. I think that the 49ers should trade him, might get some mid-round picks for him or late-round picks for him. Give him a new chance to develop, a new chance to become a starting quarterback elsewhere. I think Trey Lance should be traded immediately. He's on my list. Then next player, running back Jonathan Taylor for the Indianapolis Colts. I think things truly got ugly between Jonathan Taylor and the Colts organization, starting with the relationship that has gone downhill between Jonathan Taylor and Colts owner Jim Irsay. Yes, it's been a bad time for them, a bad time for NFL running backs. As we know, the NFL market is obviously terrible right now. So Jonathan Taylor wanted to come up to the organization and ask for a new contract, and the franchise, especially Jim Irsay, refused his trade request and refused to grant his wish of requesting a trade to play elsewhere. Now, I do believe that Jonathan Taylor, as we speak right now, he is the best player on the Indianapolis Colts organization. I do believe that he's the best offensive player on that roster. And this team, let's be honest, the Indianapolis Colts will not be competing for a championship this year. They will not be a playoff contending team this year. They still got to figure things out with their new head coach and Shane Steichen. They still got to figure things out with new quarterback Anthony Richardson to see if he's going to be the franchise guy moving forward. The defense really has not improved after trading away star corner Stephon Gilmore. Offense really only has Michael Pittman to throw to right now, so it's really looking like this team is not going to be a playoff contending team. Jonathan Taylor sees it. If you're not going to pay him, he wants to go elsewhere to play for a championship contending team, as he is in the conversation for being a top 5, outside of the top 5 conversation for best running backs in the National Football League right now. So when you look at it, Jonathan Taylor is set to be an NFL free agent after this upcoming NFL season. He'll be a free agent during the 2024 off season. The Colts, if they don't trade him now, someone that's unhappy, someone that doesn't want to be there, if they don't trade him now, you're gonna watch a star young running back walk away in his prime and not get any draft compensation for him. I do believe that this is the right time to trade Jonathan Taylor before the season even begins. Jonathan Taylor is a guy that should be traded very soon. Next player, Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After helping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense win a Super Bowl back in 2020, he was an absolute stud for that defense. In my opinion, had his best season to date in the NFL, dating back to the 2020 season when he was a star and a stud in that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. He had an incredible season, but ever since 2020, he has had an incredible decline since then. Devin White has had back-to-back seasons after helping the Bucs win that Super Bowl. He's had back-to-back seasons of having a Pro Football Focus grade of under 50%. Definitely regressing in the wrong way. After that 2020 season, it looked like Devin White was going to be one of the best linebackers in the National Football League. He has definitely regressed, and his game has not been the same since that Super Bowl winning season. And the interesting thing about Devin White is he did request a trade from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just a few months ago. The organization never granted his wish and never traded Devin White. Devin White is now back with the organization, practicing, getting ready for this upcoming NFL season. So it's very interesting to me that a team that could be on their way to rebuilding after losing Tom Brady to retirement, still a lot of question marks with Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask, who's going to be the starting quarterback moving forward. I think this is a perfect time to move around some pieces and potentially go for a full rebuild right now. I think Devin White would be a great player to trade for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, get some draft compensation for him, some draft capital, and let Devin White restart his career. Let him reset. Let him prove why he's still an athletic linebacker that has a lot of potential in the National Football League. I think this is the right time for him to be traded and get a new fresh start and a new NFL defense. I think Devin White should be traded immediately as well. Next player on my list is Rashad Bateman, wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Rashad Bateman is a former first-round pick. He was a first-round pick a few years ago in the NFL draft, but has yet to live up to the high expectations of being a former first-round pick in the 2021 NFL draft. We have not seen Rashad Bateman rise to the occasion, rise to being a former first-round pick. We just haven't been seeing that in his NFL career thus far. And unfortunately, injuries have prevented Rashad Bateman from being on the field with the Baltimore Ravens in that offense with Lamar Jackson. He's only played a total of 18 games in the last 2 NFL seasons. And that's pretty sad. You only been in the league for the 2 seasons so far. You're heading into your 3rd year. And you can only say you only played a total of 18 games in the last 2 years. When you do the math on it and you look at the NFL calendar, nowadays it's 18 weeks in the NFL, and you can only say you only played a total of 18 games in a matter of 2 seasons. That's not good. The injury bug has definitely caught up to Rashad Bateman, and the Ravens have shown that they're not waiting on Rashad Bateman to be healthy. They're not waiting on Rashad Bateman to show improvement in the department that he can be a stud wide receiver for them for the sake of the future. The Ravens have revamped their wide receiver depth this past offseason, signing Odell Beckham. They signed speedy guy Nelson Agholor that could be played in the slot or however you want him to line up in the offense. He's a speedy guy that can get his hands on the ball if he can catch the ball. But Nelson Agholor, they signed him as well. Then they went ahead and drafted Zay Flowers, absolute stud from Boston College in the 1st round. You have 3 wide receivers that you really that are already going to be higher on the depth chart than Rashad Bateman. Those wide receivers I just named, Odell Beckham, Nelson Agholor, and Zay Flowers, are all going to be higher on the depth chart than Rashad Bateman this upcoming NFL season. So right now in the offense, and they already have Lamar Jackson security blanket and Mark Andrews at the tight end position. When you have all those four of those players on the field offensively, that leaves Rashad Bateman realistically as the fifth best receiving option for Lamar Jackson in the offense and the fourth best wide receiver on the depth chart for the Baltimore Ravens. I can't see Rashad Bateman staying around in Baltimore for much longer. I think they should trade him by the NFL deadline. If Rashad Bateman's not going to get involved early in the Baltimore Ravens offense, if he's not going to be used, I think a couple mid-round picks would be good for Rashad Bateman. Somebody that has the capability of being a good wide receiver in the National Football League. The speed is there. The athleticism is there. The route running is there. He has the catching ability. That's all there. But he's just not going to get his shine with this Baltimore Ravens team. I think a new fresh start for a team that's needy of a wide receiver would be a great start for Rashad Bateman. He should be traded as well. Last but not least, Josh Jacobs, running back for the Las Vegas Raiders. I do believe that Josh Jacobs is being disrespected in Vegas. He is currently the second best player on that roster behind wide receiver Davante Adams as the second best player on that roster. Last year, Josh Jacobs had an amazing season. He had a career-defining season. He had his best season since coming into the NFL in 2019. He led the league in rushing, scored 12 touchdowns, had a total of 53 receptions as an NFL running back. He put the offense on his back last year. He did it running the ball. He did it as a passive catching option as well. Josh Jacobs is being very disrespected by the Las Vegas Raiders. Like I said a few moments ago, I understand the NFL market for running backs is not very friendly right now. However, the Raiders need Josh Jacobs to be on the field. We saw that the New York Giants and Saquon Barkley came up with some type of deal, a one-year agreement for him to stay with the organization. I think the same can be done for Josh Jacobs this upcoming NFL season. We haven't seen that yet. The two sides have been in a stalemate for a very long time, Josh Jacobs and the Raiders organization. I do believe that Josh Jacobs could be back by week 1 of the start of the NFL season, but right now it's not a good look. Josh Jacobs has not been around for camp. He's not been around for the last few weeks as the Raiders have been playing preseason games. I think it's not a good look. I think these two could be coming onto a upcoming divorce between the two, leading to Josh Jacobs being traded. And Josh Jacobs can request a trade from the Raiders if they're not going to give him a new deal, if they want him to play on the franchise tag. I think that he could go to a contending team, and the Raiders could trade him to a contending team and get a lot of draft picks, a lot of draft haul for a NFL running back of Josh Jacobs, the caliber of Josh Jacobs. And they might as well do it, because the way I see the AFC West playing out this year, we have the Kansas City Chiefs that aren't going anywhere, the Chargers that should be improved, the Broncos that could potentially be improved. The way I see it, the Raiders are going to finish in last place of the AFC West. So I do think it's best that they go ahead and trade away Josh Jacobs before the start of the season, get some draft picks for him, kind of reset after you release your franchise quarterback Derek Carr. There's a lot of question marks for that Raiders team all around the board. I think this would be a best move to trade Josh Jacobs to give him a fresh new start with a new organization. But those are the following players I do believe do need to be traded from their NFL franchises immediately, that do need a new fresh start for their respect and need to hit the reset button in their NFL careers to be with new franchises, playing with a new organization. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.